Yo, yo. I will leave my microphone at home when it's a little windy out. It's all good though. Peace. Hey, so, you know what really grinds my gears? I was talking to my team about this. This is typically something like I kind of talk about in the business world, but I think it's relevant in general because it's kind of like a life lesson, life situation type thing, right? It's not just business that this is related to. But one thing that really blows me is that like when you're when you're having a discussion with someone that's saying they want to do a thing, or they're saying that they're going to commit to a thing that they want you to commit to, and then like you come to find out later that they're really indecisive and they were really just talking with you on impulse and they have no intent to fulfill on the thing that they said that they really need to have done or really want to do or really passionate about. So it's like I've had people waste hours of my life, sometimes like days of my life on with this kind of shit. Like ideas that they never intend to bring to fruition. It's the most annoying thing. So I'll give a direct example. So I was talking with a new client. He was referred to me by a friend for some video marketing work. And as I'm talking to him, he's telling me the things that he wants. I'm walking just like I am right now. So he's a little worried at first because he was like, "Oh, don't you need to, do we need to reschedule?" After he'd already rescheduled 3 times and then just sent me a meeting link randomly. So I just took the call while I was out walking because I've been waiting on him for an hour and a half, and he just sent the shit randomly. Um, so I was like, no, I was like, it's all good. We can handle it right now. Tell me a little bit about what you need, bop, 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 and get into it. And then he sends me, some material to look over to kind of give me an idea of his specifications and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right up the alley of some stuff that me and my guys have been working on. Oh, we use I build templates for this software. I'm not gonna out them entirely, but build some templates for this software, helps build workspaces for businesses, blah 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 blah. So I was like, oh, that's what a coincidence. We've been using this software all month. I actually really love it. So I'm 100% familiar with what you're looking for. All right, cool. So I want this style of video, and I want to see this ad. It shows me this ad that Apple's been running for the iPhone 17, and I'm like, you know what? I was just studying this ad. Man, this is really lining up. Yeah, this is perfect. It's like, okay, so I'm gonna need this many of these done for this marketing campaign. I need them in this style. I'm like, yep, that's I have several examples of work I've done for other people like this. And he's like, okay, I'll need it in about a month. I'm like, a month? That's that's light work. I tell him like 7 to 10 days, but realistically, I can do that type of shit in 48 hours. So, we go ahead and, I set it up for it to get squared away. I'm like, all right, I'll have my assistant send you this. And, we'll, we go, we do a quick scope of work agreement. Sure, yeah, no problem. I get that drafted up, and within an hour after us hanging up, get all the documentation to him, get times on the call. He suddenly doesn't like that one. He wants to use PayPal. So, all right, sure. I'll get a PayPal invoice to you. Boom, send that to him. Now, the guy's a European. He's from Europe, Denmark, to be precise. What's up, bro? And so, just presuming that that's his native currency, send him the invoice in euros. Then he comes back and is like, why is it in euros though? What do you mean? You're a European. What are you talking about? So, being an honorable man that I am, I decided that I'm gonna go ahead and I'll go ahead and switch it to USD because most people that I've worked with in Europe, they prefer to deal in their native currency. Like a lot of people on my team, they're Europeans, like Eastern Europe or UK or wherever, um, Serbia, etc. And a lot of clients that we've had, they're European. So I'm just used to, if I speak to a European, dealing with them in euros. But apparently this is an issue to them. And I came to find out it was a matter of like cost because with the exchange rate from euros to USD, he would have been losing like $25. Big whoop. You're supposed to be pushing X one anyway. So we can go ahead and handle this in euros. I mean in USD. I went ahead and sent the updated invoice. Let me know when you get the chance to review. Silence. I sent it probably 10 minutes after he had said that. Silence. Follow up again the next day. Silence. Again the next day. Silence. Okay. So this clearly wasn't pressing enough or urgent enough for you to actually make a commitment to. So you're just bullshitting. You're just price hunting. You're walking through window shopping. And while like this is normal in business, and I'm not saying this to complain, the issue that I have with this and with people that operate like this is indecision. Being indecisive. That's one of the most annoying traits that someone can have. And all it takes is just like literally just deciding to do something. Let me pause. Karen says, my home is perfect, 7,800 square feet behind closed gates. My jewelry is worth more than your vehicles. That's okay, I don't have a vehicle. I have 2 Mercedes that are paid off. Yeah, I had a Mercedes, but it blew up. But yeah, that's good for you. So yeah, anyway. I want you guys, you guys to those of you that hear me, be mindful if you're dealing with or you're working with, or even just like in your personal life, you're around someone that has a habit of being indecisive, because that is it's a contagious trait. And if you're the type of person who you really like to get things done, like you put it on your list and you knock it out, like I say in a lot of my songs and things, it's not really going to align very well with what you're trying to do and who you are and all these kind of things. Now, I get it. I've been in a space where I couldn't make a decision before, right? I get this. But for example, to this particular guy, there were certain things that he was saying. Some of the things that I was saying, in this live, that recalling the things that he was saying, that kind of indicated to me that he was an indecisive person, and he hadn't really decided that he wanted to do the thing that he was trying to hire me to do. And there's just certain tales. I'm not new to this. I've been around the block, not new to rap. I'm not new to business. So, and I'm definitely not new to video marketing either, and what it takes for that. I know how to, very good at that. Very good at what I do with that. So it was just certain while on the call, certain intonations, certain pauses and things at certain times that made it kind of clear to me that he wasn't really serious about what he was presenting to me. He was trying to find a reason not to go forward with it, even though he was told by someone that he really trusted that I was the guy to go to. And some people are just like that. Some people, they have a hard time making decisions. Some people can't really set a goal and stick to it and push forward. What you have to understand, if you're a self-directed individual and you're actually driven and you actually are trying to accomplish and achieve things, you have to understand that it can only go so far with these people. Oftentimes, especially if it comes to business, you can't really operate with those kind of people because they're going to end up slowing you down. Or if you do take them on, what I've seen happen in the past is they'll be the ones that complain the most, and over and over and over and over again they want you to change something Whereas the person who will pay top dollar for something and expect to get the best from you, they won't even have a single complaint when you send it back, because they knew when they hired you that you were the one to go to. And kind of the same thing goes for like let's say for example you got a friend and they're having like some relationship issues or something like that, and they don't really, they come to you and, they're really distraught about it. Maybe it's a guy in a situation with his girl is tricky and they got an argument and they're trying to figure out, he's trying to figure out how to make it up to her and if he should stay with her and all these kind of things. So he goes through all these different iterations and all these different, he tells you the whole story, the whole background of their relationship, all that, right? And he goes through this whole process and he's like, okay, so what do I do? All right, now, at that point, you have two options, maybe three options. You could say, okay, do this, 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 and this. But you have to understand that if you're saying that, first of all, you don't, even though he's telling you, you don't fully know their situation. And second of all, even there's a very solid chance, especially if he's been in the habit of operating a certain way, that if what you're telling him is completely outside of the frame of reference, he's probably not going to listen. Good chance of that. So your other options would be to say, I don't know, bro, and just commiserate and try to one-up him, like emotional pain dick swing, as I call it, like have a pain dick measuring contest, to be like, I don't know, bro, but man, I know what you mean. I feel you because I was in this relationship and blah, 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 blah. Like that's what 99% of people do. And that's annoying as well. Your other option could be, I don't know because I'm not you, but this is what I would do, right? And understand or understand that it's up to them whether or not they're going to take that suggestion, or whether they're going to take that advice, or they're going to actually take action on what you're saying, right? Because at the end of the day, everyone has free will, and that's a good thing. Some people choose to not decide things, which is crazy, because in some contexts, the word choice and decision are very much similar. Some people consider them the same thing. But some people literally choose to not be decisive. And it does come down to just a matter of choice. Like, they can choose to make a decision. But some people just won't. And that's fine. But again, I bring it back to you, listener, viewer. If you were the type of person to where you're self-directed, you're trying to get some things done, you have work to do, you have things that you want to accomplish, you have an album that you want to release, you have a movie that you want to shoot, you have a video you want to post, you have, whatever it is, you have an event you want to plan. Okay, if you're choosing to do that thing and you've made that decision to do that thing, you need to make sure that you align with people who are actually choosing and making the same decision. They're people who are self-directed, people you're not going to have to babysit with it. Because at the end of the day, like, when it comes down to it, at least the majority of us, most of my audience is 24 to 45. So most of us are adults. I'm aware that there's some, like, teenagers and stuff that listen to my music and listen to my rants and shit like that. But most of us are adults. And so we don't really have time to hold the hands of other adults and tell them how to decide things and tell them what to decide. It's their choice. It's literally their choice. Yep, 4 hours. So, yeah, exactly, Amber. You said, let them who is what you got, to let them know you ain't got time for the thing. That is not their business, and other things to get your herd money on your block. You're a real one. I appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, hit the subscribe button. I couldn't fully put together what you were saying, but I know what you were talking about. Know what I'm talking about? So yeah, that's what it comes down to. Like, you really have to, you really got to stand on your square, and you have to make a decision on something. So back to the story in the beginning, where I was talking about this client that I was speaking with recently. I just went ahead and just pulled my offer off the table. And, I could have waited. There's been circumstances where like I've waited a week or so, and then the guy will end up sending me the money, and it'll come through in a nice time. But what I know is oftentimes in those situations, those people, like I said, are like the most annoying headaches to deal with because they're indecisive. So like they'll tell me to change a certain thing, and then I'll change that thing. And they're like, never mind, I don't want that change. Change it back to this. I don't have time for that shit. So I just went ahead and sent them a message and said, hey man, I appreciate you reaching out and wanting to work with me. At this time, I'm gonna go ahead and pull my offer off the table. I have a partner who may be better suited for it. I'll go ahead and pass him your info. He'll reach out to you soon, right? Now, mind you, notice I said he hadn't responded to me for 48 hours after we got off that call and after he said that dumb complaint about it being, this payment processor and not that one, even though that was resolved in 10 minutes. Hadn't responded in 48 hours, hadn't even opened the messages. As soon as I said that, he opened the shit. As soon as he sent it. So what does that show me? That shows me he was watching in his notifications the whole time. But he wasn't making a fucking decision. He was scared. He was scared to choose to decide. Let's say worst case scenario, let's say I was a fucking scammer and he sent me the money and I did the thing, which I'm not, by the way. Let's go ahead and make that clear. But let's say he sent me the money and he was like, all right, let's go ahead and do the thing. And he gave me a full fucking month to deliver it, and I didn't. First of all, it wasn't really a lot of money that I was requesting. I've charged way more for that kind of stuff. But second of all you got to do is just fucking charge it back then. Just contact the bank. They'll take the shit back. They'll shut down my account, and you'll be good to go. So like there's literally nothing to lose. And that's the thing with a lot of people. They'll create these obstacles in their mind on things that they think are going to stop them from getting the thing achieved. And it's literally just you getting in your own way. For those of y'all who fuck with Russ, y'all need to read his book, Get Out of Your Own Way. It's all in your head. It's a little yellow book. Very, very good, strong mindset book. He talks about a lot of the same principles as like Napoleon Hill and them. But he puts it in the framework of like music. It's a very good book. I had a partner who had like a 7 or 8 year old, and I had her read it, and it helped change her whole mind frame on things. So yeah, sometimes you just got to get out of your own way, and that's what people who are scared to decide things, that's what they are doing. They're literally just standing in their own way. They're their own obstacle. And look, I'm not saying I'm immune to this. Like this, as far as indecision, I don't really think as much my issue, but I stand in my own way sometimes too. I'm an obstacle in my own way at times. Sometimes I'll make things to be more difficult than they are, but I'll still continue to work through them until I crack through that wall. So I think that's kind of the difference for me. And I'm always coming up with new things to do. I cannot sit down on my hands and on my ass. Like I just can't. I wake up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning every single fucking morning, and I might go to sleep at midnight. Like damn near every day, maybe 2 to 4 hours of sleep, and the whole time, you can ask my wife, I'm just gunning, I'm just pushing through. If I'm not working, I'm tending to my children. If I'm not tending to my children, I'm working, and that's it. A lot of people aren't geared to do that. A lot of people aren't built to do that, and it doesn't even really matter what I'm working on. I could be on album mode, and I could be, recording for several hours straight, and whatnot. Or I could be on, business mode, and I'm building some shit up. I'm building some systems. I'm cutting and chopping some videos. I'm doing some market research, whatever it is, I'm always moving. So I'm always making quick decisions. And because of this, I absolutely cannot stand it when I'm in a conversation with someone who approaches me with the thing and they can't make a decision. That blows me. That blows me. I don't mind showing people how to do things, but even still, they gotta be willing to make that move. You see what I'm saying? You see this kind of crux that oftentimes I find myself stuck on. And again, this goes for everything. So if you're trying to get somewhere here's the end of the thing. What's up, Matul? What's up, Alexandra? Yeah, I got 4 eyes. No, I'm not Corey Kinsh's brother. He's cool though. Yeah. So if you have something that you want to do, if you have something that you want to be in life, if you have something that you want to achieve, first of all, go ahead and subscribe because you're the type of person that I like to have around. Second of all, you need to be willing to make decisions relatively quickly and not just make decisions, but take action on those decisions. And the people who may be around or may be trying to peek in or may try to lurk in there, they're not really trying to add to that motion. Like if somebody's just kind of like peeking in through the window, or they come up and they ask you, or they eavesdrop, or they're like, what are you doing? And just trying to get some information out of you on it, but they're not actually trying to contribute to it. Those are the people you got to be wary of. Those are the people that you got to like stand back from. If it's in a business sense, like especially, I don't know if anybody else out there is in like video marketing or whatever, but when it comes to those people, like I stopped and I told a lot of my guys, because I've had as many as like 150 guys on my team before, and I showed them all how to kind of go out and get their own, alongside doing the work that we were doing together for larger clients. And I told them a long time ago, stop giving out free shit, stop giving out free samples, right? Just like if it comes to hip hop, I'm not sending no free features except, the people that I really rock with, and people that I respect. Like that's basically it. People that I know. I'm not doing it otherwise. Same thing for business. I'm not sending you no fucking free video. I'm not sending you a free marketing plan. I'm not doing none of that. No. We'll have a conversation. We'll determine if we're a good fit for what you're looking for. I'll figure out what you're looking for from the conversation, and we'll move from there. We'll make it make sense for both ends. I've no interest in playing that game. So for the same reason, when it comes to people who just kind of like eavesdropping, they want to get a window seat on what you're doing, those people you really have to analyze and assess and be like, hey, look, is this person, are they actually trying to add to this motion of what I'm trying to achieve? Are they even encouraging me? Or is it just like, oh, that's cool, bro. That's cool, wow. That's not encouragement. Are they even doing that bare minimum? Or are they just asking you a bunch of questions and then, just draining your energy, draining your time from it? Or are they running off and they telling somebody else about it to pass your idea along to somebody else that can execute on it? Like, what is the purpose of the people that are around you? If you can't answer that question for some people based off the interactions that you had and, their character and all these kind of things, you really need to assess whether or not they even need to be near you when you're doing that. And I'm not saying like cut off your friends and family and all that shit, but sometimes that can be necessary. It really could be. You don't have to be a dick, but sometimes you got to apply a little bit of distance if you're trying to get something achieved. Either way it goes, you got to make a decision. You got to choose to make a decision of whether or not you want to let indecisive motherfuckers stay in your life. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace.